Hello, kids. Hope you all are good. And I believe that you have already watched the part one and part two of the video. So, as you all know, we started learning the supplementary from Unit 5. The title of the supplementary is A Day in 2889 of an American Journalist, written by Jules Verne. And this is the part three of the video. Please watch it till the end, and we are going to finish this lesson from this video. So where did we stop in part 2 of the video? In part 2 of the video, we learned that Mr. Francis Bennett was about to have lunch with his wife, right? He had traveled from the projector room to his dining room with the help of a rolling armchair, right? So I hope you all remember that. So the reason, let us briefly recall what happened in part 2 of the video. The main thing that happened in part 2 of the video, the discovery of the new planet Kandini. So he was very excited and he wanted to share this information to the world. So he goes and advertise this information with the help of 1,000 projectors that will advertise the information in the atmosphere through with the help of clouds. So this is what we call atmosphere or atmospheric advertisement. And it was exactly 12 o'clock while he was doing all these things. So he remembered that he was supposed to go and have his lunch with his wife who was at Paris. So he goes to his dining room, and everything's been set up, and this is where we left. Let's get started from where we left right now. Like everybody else in easy circumstances nowadays, Francis Bennett, having abandoned domestic cooking, is one of the subscribers to the Society for Supplying Food to the Home, which distributes dishes of 1,000 types through a network of pneumatic tubes. So Mr. Francis Bennett is was actually sitting on his dining table. So like everyone else, he also wants things to be very easy. So because busy schedule, it will be very difficult for Francis Bennett to go and cook. So what he did, he abandoned, which means he didn't he abandoned completely the domestic cooking. Instead, he subscribed to the Society for Supplying Food to the Home. So what is this Society for Supplying Food to the Home? So this Society for Supplying Food to the Home delivers the desired food through a network of pneumatic tubes. So this pneumatic tubes delivers food. So like you have 1,000 types of dishes. So whatever you want, you can just press a button and that will deliver the food. This system is expensive, no doubt, but the cooking is better. So, not without some regret. Francis Bennett was lunching in solitude. He was finishing his coffee when Mrs. Bennett, having got back home, appeared in the telephone screen. So this is that pneumatic tube that delivers the food. As you look at the picture, you can clearly see. So so what he thinks, actually this pneumatic tubes, this subscription, right, Society for Supplying Food, it is actually expensive, but still the cooking is better. So the food, whatever he gets is better. So he doesn't have any regret for subscribing to this supplying Society for Supplying Food to the Home. So he was having his lunch in solitude. Solitude means he was having his lunch with alone without any company. So when he was about to complete his lunch, his wife, Mrs. Bennett, appeared in the telephone screen. When he had finished his lunch, he went across to the window where his air co was waiting. "Where are we going, sir?" asked the air coachman. "Let's see, I've got time," Francis Bennett replied. "Take me to my accumulator's works at Niagara." So when he finished his lunch with his wife, what he does, he goes towards his window. There his aerocore was waiting. So aero coachman was already there in the aero core. So he was asking, "Where are we going, sir?" So for that, Mr. Francis Bennett replies that, "Let's go to the Niagara, so where my accumulator works." So let me explain you what does accumulator mean here. Accumulator means, say for example, it's a kind of an hydropower. So in many countries, people use water to produce electricity, right? Likewise, Mr. Francis Bennett in this story leased the Niagara Falls for a short time. So he utilized the Niagara Falls for the production of electricity and also to accumulate power. So that is what accumulator means here. The Aeroco was shot across space at a speed of about 400 miles an hour. Below him were spread out the towns with their moving pavements, which carry the wayfarers along the streets, and the countryside covered as though by an immense spider's web by the network of electric wires. So, so he got into the aero core and it just shot across space, which means like it traveled in a speed about 400 miles an hour. And below him, he was looking at below the aero core while traveling, and he sees that the towns were filled with moving pavements. So, what are moving pavements? We can say a walk consisting of paved area for pedestrians. Say, for example, in airport now we have escalators, right? So that moves on its own. Likewise, below him there were lot of pavements that carries wayfarers are nothing but a people who travel. So a traveler going on trip, we can say. So below him he was looking below from his aero core, and he sees that there were lots of pavements that have been carrying the travelers along the streets. So it from above it looks like some immense spider web has been covered the entire entire countryside. So what he means here, like when he looks down from the aerocore, when he looks down, so the entire town, the country as well as the entire town, it has been covered by lot and lot of wires that looks like a spider web. So that is what he means here. Within half an hour, Francis Bennett had reached his works at Niagara, where, after using the force of the cataracts to produce energy, he sold or hired it out to the consumers. Then he returned by way of Philadelphia, Boston, and New York to Centropolis, where his aerocar put him down about 5 o'clock. So, what happens, Mr. Francis Bennett was traveling in aerocore, and that was traveling very speed, and so within half an hour they reached to the Niagara. So that is where his workstation, that is where his workstation is there, right? The accumulator that collects energy and converts, I mean collects energy and also produce, say for example, electricity. So what he does after using the forces of cataracts to produce energy, so here cataracts means, say for example, a conversion kind of an instrument that is used to produce the energy. So in here he actually leaves the Niagara Falls, right? So the Niagara Falls where he has this cataracts. So you know that the force of the falls are very high, right? So the force of the falls will be converted into energy with the help of these cataracts. So then once the energy is being produced as well as stored, what he does, he sells them, or else he hired it to the consumer. So he gives the produced energy, either he sells them, or else he gives to, I mean he rents them for different consumers. So then he returned back to Centropolis through Philadelphia, Boston, and New York, and he got down at 5 o'clock in Centropolis. The waiting room of the Earth Herald was crowded. So you all know that Centropolis is a place where he has this, his news channel, right? So the waiting room of the Earth Herald was crowded. A careful lookout was being kept for Francis Bennett to return for the daily audience he gave to his petitioners. Among their different proposals, he had to make a choice, reject the bad ones, look into the doubtful ones, and welcome the good ones. So what happens? Mr. Francis Bennett goes to Niagara, and he sells his energy I mean, the energy that is produced by the Niagara Falls with the help of cataracts, and he comes back to the Centropolis to his waiting room of the Earth Herald News Channel. So it was completely crowded. What happens? Mr. Francis Bennett was so popular, and he funds for a lot of projects. Say, for example, a lot of scientific discoveries or scientific technological related project. So he had, so for him, there were a careful lookout was being kept for Francis Bennett. So every day he visits people with different ideas and knowledge and different kinds of proposals. So for him, there was a careful lookout. A lookout means, like, say, for example, we can consider that as a project which has been written or invented by many scientists or research people. So every day he meets lot of people. Among them, he has to select the good one. He has to make a good choice, and he has to reject the bad ones. And sometimes he has to take a careful look into the doubtful one and also welcome the good ones. He soon got rid of those who had only useless or impracticable schemes. A few of them, a few of the others received a better welcome, and foremost among them was a young man whose broad brow indicated a high degree of intelligence. So what he does, so as I told you, every day he sees many people, like many people will apply for funds to him. So he has to go and see that, so see those people, and he will fund for the projects that are very good, and he will leave which are very bad. So he soon, what he does, he soon removes the project which are useless or sometimes which cannot be practically possible. So of the careful lookouts, there were few which received better welcome by Mr. Francis Bennett. So there was an young man whose broad brow indicated a high degree of intelligence. So he looks at a young man who has a broad eyebrow, so that indicates, like, he looks at his face, and that actually make him look like as if he's really intelligent. So let's see the other part in the other video. So up to this, so Mr. Francis Bennett finishes his lunch with his wife through phonotelefort. We also have seen pneumatic tube, which actually provides different types of dishes. Since Mr. Francis Bennett didn't have much time and also want to make things easy, what he does, he subscribes to the Society for Food Supply to Home. So with the help of that, through pneumatic tube, 1,000 dishes are being supplied. So whatever he wants, he can get it. Then after that, he make a journey to Niagara to go and look at his workstation. So where he, with the help, he actually leads this Niagara Falls. So there he produces the energy. The energy then again be sold or hired to different customers or consumers. Then he got back to Centropolis, so the place where he has his own news channel, Earth Herald, and he was looking at the different petitions. Say, for example, different young people and scientists have applied for the fund to get, to get fund from the Mr. Francis Bennett. So among them, he chooses only one young man right now, till now. I mean, according to this video, so he chose only a few projects. Among them, one project seems to be very good. So what he does, he looks at an young man whose broad brow indicates that he has high intelligence, or like he is of high intelligence likewise. So that's all from this part of the video. The remaining part, please see it in the other another video.